All right, welcome into another The Denver Sports Podcast, TDSP, presented by Breckenridge Brewery. You can get Breck Brew here at the DNVR bar. You can find it at breckbrew.com in the beer locator. Just type in your zip code, shows you exactly where to find it. Breck Brew, the official craft beer, DNVR. I'm Harrison Wind, joined on this TDSP today by my guy Spencer Smith.
What's up, Harrison?
What's up, dude?
Thanks for having me on, brother.
Thanks for coming on.
I don't think I've ever been on a pod with you. Maybe a drunk Nuggets post-game once when I was drunk.
I feel like we did do a drunk Nuggets post-game together.
Yeah, I think I hit one of those.
Also joined by my guy Henry Chisholm.
Yes. Back-to-back appearances.
The people love you, man.
Let's go. That's all I wanted. Because the Bronco fans are a little bit iffy on me at this point. But, yeah.
Why are they iffy on you?
I mean, where to start? I mean, I guess you start with the playoff run a couple of years ago when I was like, you know what, the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. It sucks that they are. And so then it's just kind of been like, they hated me from that, and it's been up and down. And now
they
it's
hate you
like,
because you're right?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. That's the thing. But yeah, and then you go to like Bo Nix. There's some people, I'm getting a lot of DMs like, why do you not like Bo Nix? It's like, what do you mean? How do you not like?
What's not to like about a short, old, hurt?
Because he's not that good.
He hits wide open receivers 5 yards away. Congrats.
Paxton Lynch.
Exactly. Yeah.
Interesting.
So no, we're rebuilding the reputation over here.
Also, Henry today drinking his first ever Celsius energy drink.
Which one of the things that kind of sucks about having a bunch of sponsors and partners, which are very few of them, is that you worry about things like drinking a Celsius in front of the camera and giving like an honest review. But I don't think we have anybody who competes with Celsius.
We do not have any energy drink companies.
So I can just straight up say like, yeah, this is kind of changing my life. Like I'm halfway through.
You are
and, like,
hilarious.
I'm seeing all the colors are becoming more clear. The can says it burns fat, which awesome. Accelerates metabolism.
You're sweating.
Yeah, it could be. Honestly.
Yeah, the only you on Celsius, the only one that somebody can make more Henry is Celsius. Like that energy is trying to match your internal energy.
Yeah, I think I've given Celsius maybe a bit of a bad rap because like
you're giving it a pretty good review right now.
I am now because I've actually tried it. But before it was like, oh, it's like sorority girl drink. Is kind of the vibe.
Didn't it get banned or something, or they had to change up the stuff in it?
I think they had to change like what it said on it, or there was an energy drink that was basically just like saying it was just completely lying on the label. Okay. I don't know if it was Celsius for sure, but it was basically like this has, it has how many? It's not that insane. Like how many grams of caffeine does it have?
It has a whole bunch of chromium.
Chromium? What's that?
I have no idea. 50 milligrams of.
What is
oh no, that's
chromium?
calcium.
Oh, you mean
wait?
calcium?
It doesn't say caffeine anywhere on here. Maybe that's what they had.
That's probably the unsafe part of it.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. 200 milligrams. They make it all small
that's
down
not
there.
even that bad.
Okay.
Yeah,
like
there was a whole recall for cans that did not label they had that amount of caffeine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this says that chromium is an essential trace mineral found in foods and supplements and might help keep blood sugar levels normal by improving the way the body uses insulin. Is it good for you? There's no way.
See, that's one of those things where I don't have any insulin issues. Like I don't need.
Not that you
even
know.
if it's saying like it for everybody, it makes it better. Things are going pretty well, so maybe I'm not going to mess with that.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens.
You can get
we
18
will
packs
see.
of those at Costco. I usually get one every couple weeks.
Also created in 2005.
But it just is popping off right now.
That's crazy.
Whatever. Guys, what's not popping off right now? The Rockies. As we record this, I think they're about to play in
540.
Chicago. 540?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice call. The Rockies are 1-4. They're already 3 games back in the NL West. They're not the worst team in baseball, though. They actually
the
don't
Chicago
have.
White Sox haven't won a game yet.
That's
And I
true.
believe
That's
the Mets
actually
have
true.
not
Yeah.
either.
And the run differential with the
I was
A's.
going to say the
Yep.
run differential. The A's have a worse run differential. Minus 27. The Rockies' run differentials minus 23.
They're right there.
That's crazy.
All right. I'm glad I have you guys on the show today because 2 of the most positive baseball guys I feel like at the company. Why is the Rockies season not over yet?
Because there's still opportunity for growth in what we want to see. Like, my My brother calls me overly optimistic, and he said today, quote, in exact quotes, it's like going back to a bad ex-girlfriend multiple times. I try to get past the ownership part of it. Like, yes, it sucks, but there's nothing we can do about it.
It is what it is.
I like the Rockies baseball
Exactly.
team. Like, I'm sorry that Dick Monfort owns them, but I like the Rockies baseball team. So I'm not going to stop that. I do think that, like, they're not going to be good, and anybody telling you that is completely delusional. I'm not fully delusional, but I also think that there's things that we can see. Like, if they were 1-4 but had lost a couple of close games, not had a bad news Bears scenario, and in a Little League home run allowed yesterday, there's some things that we're seeing right now that make it look really bad.
Yep.
But the season's not over because, in reality, the season never started, or it was never going to be a, like, oh, this team should be a playoff team like everybody says about the Padres every single year, and then they never make it. Like, this team's a 60 to 70 win team, maybe in the 50s, who knows. But we have to see, like, the Nolan Jones playing well, the Ezekiel Tovar playing well, and that's not happening. So that part of it worries me, but the actual season still has a lot to. There's a lot of room for growth.
I feel like if they didn't give up 14 runs in the third inning in the opener, it'd feel a little different.
Certainly.
Like, that was the worst way possible to start.
I mean, it was the worst inning in Rockies history.
Yeah, they've had two of
like, the fact that was on opening day,
No.
that kind of, like, I think killed everybody's interest right there.
Terrible.
Yeah, they've had two of the worst possible moments in last night's game and then that game. That just any sliver of hope that this team could, like, be competing mid-June or July and 500, maybe messing around. Like, people forget the Orioles 3 years ago were the worst team in baseball.
Yeah.
That's the reason they have Jackson Holiday now. And not saying the Rockies can turn it around like that, but it is possible. And it's possible by teams all around the league.
I've talked about this, I think, on this show before. Teams that have had, like, 100 losses, like, 3 years later, they're in the playoffs. You know? Like, that shit just happens in baseball.
And that's the thing.
If you know what you're doing.
Right.
That's the problem.
That is the part that's the part that's still jury's still out.
The Rockies are going to have a good season at some point. Like,
maybe
at some point. Like, the question is just when, and that's what this season is about. It's being like, okay, Brenton Doyle is good, or like Nolan Jones is good. Like, to be able to think that that's not going to be like 15 years down the line, and that's actually going to be in like a year or two. And to go back to like the crazy ex-girlfriend scenario, the difference is in that world you can just go date somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, we're stuck in Denver, we've got the Rockies. It's like if you're on a desert island and there's just one girl there, and it's like, yeah, she might be the worst, but like, what are you going to do?
She's also the best.
Exactly. Like,
She's the only.
You don't have another option.
Right.
It might suck, but it's like, it's her, it's nothing.
Yeah, like, if you're a true fan of the Rockies, you can't just be like, I'm not watching them or I don't care. If you're a true fan.
I took last season off. I went to a handful of games because, like, you got to do it. That was the one where, like, I bottomed out and I was like, I can't right now. But that was a low point. We're building back up.
Okay, I like that you're building back up, but this would have been the year to hit that bottom out, I think. I kind of think.
I really hope it was last year. I mean, that was the worst year in team history.
So far.
They're like an ex-girlfriend that's still a little fun to, like, hang out with every once in a while. Because they've got the party deck.
Yeah, you go to her place and it's just a great time.
Yeah.
And you wake up the next morning, you're like, fuck, I did it.
Yeah, and you're like, I won't come back here for like a month.
She's got like a big flat screen TV, like an Xbox.
Right. Yeah, like her apartment's really cool to go over to. Like, she's got a pool.
Yeah. A big old balcony.
Good amenities.
Beer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good views.
Yeah.
But, in the end, it's not worth it.
Yeah, once it gets to about midnight, you're already trying to figure out how to Uber your way home.
It has been really hard to, like, because I mean, we all kind of knew this wasn't going to be a great season, but to watch it actually happen, you forget how badly it hurts. Because, like, they're 1-4 right now. If somebody were to tell me before, you'd be like, yeah, 1-4 makes sense. But then you see the ball just go under Nolan Jones's glove.
Right.
And then they're just running, they run all the bases. Like, that should have been like a single or something. But it's just, you forget all the different ways there are to lose in baseball. And we're not even a week in, and we're going to see dozens more. I mean,
maybe 100.
You might see 100 more different ways you can lose a baseball game this season.
Right.
So that stinks. It also stinks that, like, they've only credited Nolan Jones with 2 errors so far, I think.
He's had more?
I think they have him on 4.
Do they have him on 4?
He's on pace for like 133
Okay,
errors
good.
this
Because, like, there have been so many where it's just like, oh God, like, and he was supposed to be a good defensive player.
He was supposed to be the guy. He's like the guy that, if you're like a Homer Rockies fan, you're hitching your wagon to. Like,
Exactly.
I've hitched my
No,
wagon
I bought
to
the
him.
jersey opening day.
Yeah.
I went over to Coors. I bought the jersey because I was like, this is the one thing we have that's going for us. And as in like those couple of weeks before the season, you think about like all the things that could go right. Where it's like, okay, they were like 18th in runs last year. They could do that again. Like, then you just need the pitching. Like, if the rotation kind of steps up, like Kyle Freeland has like, you never think about all the things that you expect to go all right that could go horribly wrong. Like Nolan Jones, terrible. Like the Kyle Freeland, that start on opening night, terrible. And so that's the thing that's kind of stung me, is that I had the total wrong mindset of like, okay, here's what could go right, and this could be fun. But it's the things that you expect to be all right that have gone horribly wrong.
Do you, how many games do you guys go to a year usually?
Rockies, I'm usually in like the 15 to 20 range, I'd say.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think my high is 23. But now that I live like a 5-minute walk away, the goal this year is 20. The combination of cheap tickets, like, I mean, why not? What else am I going to do?
Right.
I guess is the argument for a Rockies game.
Right. The baseball does have a stranglehold on the market of summer night activities.
Exactly.
Like if you're a
I
sports
know.
fan.
Exactly.
There is like nothing better, you know, if you're going out a night in Denver. I feel like a banner night is dinner, Rockies game, bars.
Yep. 100%.
Like that's a great night
Yeah.
downtown.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what happens in the game.
At our apartment complex, so I did just remember. So the guy who's married to the manager of the apartment complex listens to the Broncos podcast. Not sure if he's listening now, but sometimes I gotta think about what I'm saying. We're technically not allowed to grill on our balcony.
Yeah,
we're trying to
that's a lot of
decide like
apartments in Denver. Yeah,
how to go around that, because there are like community grills,
yeah.
but like grilling
There are
before
those.
you go.
Dude, yeah.
We're
you-
working
You
on it.
might
used-
have to use the community
I-
grill.
that's
also
probably
live
the
in
move.
community grill.
Oh, yeah, you lived in
platform,
this
and you
building.
just like walk the whole way with like a fucking big tray of meat.
Oh, I
and
know.
then you
It's
sit
like-
down
yeah.
there. It's like, I don't love this.
Yeah.
I'd rather
Community grill, not the best setup.
No, and then you get down there if you can't see it beforehand, and then there's like 2 dudes on it. You're like, cool. I'll just
Yeah,
sit
then
here
you
with
gotta wait
my
and
fucking
whatnot.
raw meat hanging
Yeah.
out, waiting
Yeah.
for this
Hate
grill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited to go to some games though. Like
Yeah.
Coors Field, you can't beat it.
I will
No,
say
like the sunset there,
I've
incredible.
only bet on the Rockies once this season.
You're betting on the Rockies.
Well, they're not going to lose every game. So you just
True.
So it was
They did
actually,
win one.
and that was the one I bet on them. So I was like, okay, they're due for a win. Like
Yeah.
they're not going to stay this bad forever. And so I'm 1 for 1, which is obviously a good start.
You guys
Yeah,
think
you-
they're winning today?
Kyle
he
Freeland
does.
can't be. He's got to be better.
Kyle
than he was
Freeland
last
on the
game.
bump in Chicago?
I mean, does their pitcher have a sub 39 ERA?
Their pitcher
There's
hasn't
no
pitched
guarantee.
yet, I don't think.
It's
There we
his
go. Okay.
season
Okay.
debut.
Yeah.
Javier Assad.
Okay, I don't know him. That's true of most baseball players.
Second year or third year.
My betting on the
looks
Rockies this year
decent,
has
though.
been kind of like the Rockies season. So I was here at the bar Saturday, and they were down 2-0, and I wanted like some action. I was already betting on abs,
Yeah.
all this stuff. I go to the
Yeah, sometimes you just need some action.
Yeah, I was like, I'm watching the Rockies. Like, I need some action. So I go in, and they're plus 390 money line,
Oh,
down
boy,
2-0.
yeah.
So I go to bet it. It sends me on the re-log in scenario.
Yeah.
I won't
That
call
makes
out
you
any
really
sports
think
books.
about the bet you're about
Yeah.
to make when it makes you log
So
in.
I do that. In the process of me re-logging in, resetting the app, Tovar hit the 2-run home run. They went from plus 390 to plus 160, and I said, I can't bet this.
Yeah.
I can't bet this
that's
at
fine.
160. And then they
Yeah.
won.
I
So-
actually, I hadn't made any bets. I actually, since that bet until yesterday, I was sitting there, I was watching the Avs, who were down 3-0 after the second period.
Did you live bet it?
Meanwhile, LSU was down. And so I was like, okay, like we'll throw a parlay in there.
Yeah.
I'll throw in like the Rockies today, Nuggets tonight, $10 to win $2,000. And about 10 minutes after I made the bet, I was like, what am I doing here? Like, what a terrible bet. This isn't going to happen. So I cash it out, and I turned $10 into $10.27. So
Oh, so you just keep doing
came
that.
out ahead.
Yeah.
Not
I
bad.
do it every day,
Not
and
bad at all.
I'll have a few bucks.
That can buy you some more Celsiuses.
Yeah, I'm going to need to start budgeting. Also, on sale at King Supers. It's supposed to be $2.50. Plugged in my phone number, $1.99.
There you go.
Yeah.
$2 for a whole night of happiness. That's
Exactly. Well,
incredible.
assuming I don't tank.
Well, see, like a tank is okay, right? If you're ready to like go to bed.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't feel like energy drinks work on me anymore.
I feel like I don't feel like they work on me either, but I feel like it's a placebo effect where like I have to have
You're
one.
supposed to
Yeah,
be energized,
yeah.
so you just are.
Yeah, like I wake up in the morning on like a Saturday, I don't really have to do anything, and I drink one, and I'm like, okay,
That's-
now I'm okay.
That's who like that Starbucks cold brew is for me.
Oh, I think cold brew might be the one thing that
Huh.
can still get me going.
Because for me though, it's like it's the first like drink.
Yeah.
It's like it's not even like, oh, I've had half of it, I'm starting to feel it. It's like
the first
oh,
sip,
I'm good to
yeah.
go now.
Okay.
Isn't that their motto or something?
Oh, I don't know.
Something like that.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's how I am with nicotine. Like I usually take my first pouch at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and then it's like, okay, my dreams are fucking nuts. But that's what gets my day going.
Oh
Yeah,
my
we might
God.
need to get the sales team on this Celsius stuff.
It's
Yeah, I've submitted some proposals for the sales team recently.
Oh, I gotta do that. I haven't done that in a while.
I don't think they like when you do it.
They
I think
used
they're
to.
doing their job. and
No,
they're
I mean
like-
they're doing a great job. They just signed Toyota.
yeah,
Exactly.
No,
Toyota Lounge upstairs.
Yeah, first podcast not from the Toyota Lounge.
I know.
Since the Toyota Lounge has begun.
We'll have the Nugget Show from the Toyota Lounge tonight.
Yeah.
though. So excited for that.
Yeah.
I got to hit a break real quick. Tell you guys about Bet365, where you can bet on the Rockies if you really
and
want.
golf
And golf. Masters
Yeah.
coming up.
next
I'm
week.
hyped for that.
Who's the
Next
pick?
week. It's Brooks Koepka for me.
Okay.
But everybody hates him because he plays on the Live Tour. So,
Yeah.
but Bet365 is awesome for golf because it does the each way bets for you.
What's that?
So it's when you bet, you put it in, you click the each way button, and it automatically bets that player on their odds on winning it and their odds on their placing it. So like you can bet 1 through 5, 1 through 8, 1 through 10, 1 through 12. So if they get first, you win both of those bets. But if they don't get first and then they get like 7th,
Yeah.
you still win.
Yeah,
And that's
there you go.
honestly the way to bet golf is like if you just bet only winners, your day could be ruined on Thursday, like the first day of the
Exactly.
tournament. But
Right.
if you bet them to get 10th, like they could have a crazy good day on Sunday and get 10th place.
Yeah.
There you go.
My move is always I take one before the tournament. I'll do like a Wednesday night bet, and then I'll do one more each of the 4 days, and they're all winners. So it's like day 2, I'll just be like, this first guy's awesome, so I can get a little creative with the second guy, or like if he's not playing well, then I'll do like I just gotta get a favorite in here, and then hopefully by like Sunday you're just hedging, you know?
Yeah, that's the best way to do
Right.
it.
Yeah. Like hopefully you've got like 2 guys in it, and there's like 2 others, and you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't started looking at who I'm betting for the Masters yet, though. The whole Live Tour thing it's a weird dynamic.
It is. The
So they're allowed to play, right?
yes, they
Yeah.
are. If
In the
they've
majors.
qualified for it. Yeah.
All right. Should be interesting. Use code DNVR365 when you sign up. Must be 21 plus, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Also, shout out to Breck Brew, the official craft beer of DNVR. Get it here at the bar. I'm drinking one right now. I think it's the Funslinger. Try out some of our favorites as well. The Avalanche Amber, the Mile High City, Broncos Country Pale Ale, the Funslinger. They got good company hard seltzers too. If you want to know where to get Breck Brew, check out their beer locator. Just type in your zip code, shows you exactly where to get Breckenridge Brewery. This podcast presented by Breck Brew, the official craft beer of DNVR. All right, let's move on from the Rockies and talk about professional athletes betting on their sports. So obviously, Jonte Porter is caught up in a little betting ring, it seems like. Potentially, allegedly.
Allegedly.
I was actually doing some research, man, for this show. Did you know that as of last year, 10 NFL players have gotten suspended for gambling on the NFL?
Yeah, there is the most funny part to me about this is when all this comes out because this is obviously way more prevalent.
Yeah.
And some people think it's ridiculous because they're like, "Welcome back to this NFL game brought to you by DraftKings," but the player, like people don't understand how much these players know versus what you cover the Nuggets, right?
Yeah.
You're as fucking connected to the Nuggets as any human outside of that team can be,
Right.
and they know a million times more about
Oh,
every day than you do.
Of course, yeah.
And I've kind of learned that over the years of like just being around you guys covering teams, And I always find it hilarious when it's like, yeah, this guy placed 3 $10 bets, and that's what's causing him an entire season. Like, what are you doing? Or somebody, one of the Broncos, he went through his girlfriend's FanDuel. Like,
there was a player.
Are they not going to realize
I remember hearing about this when it happened, but I just saw it again when I looked it up. There was this player on the Patriots who, when he was at LSU, they found he placed 8,900 bets. 8,900 bets in a year from like a fraudulent account.
Yeah. You know,
I mean, my question for you guys is like, how many players actually do this?
Well, I would guess it's in the 75% range.
Do you think it's that high?
100%.
75% of pro athletes?
100%. Because in a locker room, first of all, well, the fun parts is like they bet each other. Like in the certain locker rooms, it's just constant this and that. But like this has made it. There's definitely ways around it. Like you have to be careful. You have to be super careful now, especially in the last 2 years.
100%.
But I would venture to guess, right around anywhere between. I'll dumb that down a little bit to 50 to 75% of them bet on sports. Now, whether that's legally according to the federal law. Okay. Or through someone else, but like the Jonte Porter situation, I think his situation is a little different, but I think some of these players see as an opportunity for their boys to make some money, and they're like, hey, I might not play tonight, I might play 2 minutes tonight, like take all my unders, or like kind of like the Jonte Porter situation. Now certain players make enough money to where you think that wouldn't be an issue. Yeah. But at the same time, like they're looking at it as a semi-free pass for their friends to be able to make money. Yeah. Now, how crooked does that all get? You could talk for hours about it, but I think a lot of them do. I think it's just you have to be careful about how you do it.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like 75% betting on DraftKings or something, or Bet365.
No, I don't. I think
I agree that probably 80-90% of guys in an NBA locker room are betting on stuff, but just hand to hand, not on like an app.
And there's even stuff like what Christian Brown had to wear the UConn jersey. Right. Is that what it was? Because he made the bet with Colin Gillespie?
Gonzaga.
Gonzaga. That's what it was. Strother. That's what it was. That's nice for the cameras, but
you think
who would be surprised if there was like a couple $100?
I would say
you would. Yeah, I guess it's NBA money. It's not hundreds. But yeah, there's like that kind of stuff that's going on too. So it's not. That isn't the end of the world. And honestly, a bunch of the NFL policies are way too restrictive. I think, and I get you got to keep some distance because as soon as you have like a real betting scandal, things change. Yeah. That's when people get to say like your league isn't legit anymore. It's one of the very few things that could really cause real danger to something like the NFL is a real big betting scandal. And Shohei Ohtani's thing is kind of doing that for Major League Baseball.
That's gone away pretty quickly.
It sure has. We'll see if it comes back. But that's where the NFL, all their rules were you couldn't bet on team property. And so even if you make a college basketball bet on FanDuel while you're on the team bus or on a team hotel, when you're on a road trip, you're out for I guess that one wound up being a 6-week suspension, which is a pretty big number for just doing a pretty normal bet. I think that line just needs to be drawn where you can't bet on your own games. You probably just have to say you can't bet on any NFL games. But outside of that,
I think that's where the line is drawn. It should be drawn. Is you cannot bet on your own sport. Yep. And that's they should make the penalty serious for that.
Totally.
What is it? Awazarike, the guy that got suspended for the Broncos for an entire year. He was using his girlfriend's FanDuel account. Yep.
But what was he betting on? Do we know?
He had one bet on the Broncos game
to win. Important.
And
because to lose is different.
Yeah. But then I just think these are adult men or women in professional sports. If you want to gamble on sports, fine. That, I don't think that should be a problem. I think it's obviously if you're betting on your own sport, that's where it becomes an issue. Yep. But the whole team property thing, and I'm not an NFL player, but I would imagine they lay that out to you pretty clearly of like what you can and can't do.
Oh, yeah,
So just
it's
follow
crystal
it. Like
clear.
it's not that hard.
That
Go
was
home,
one-
Then place your bets.
When Sean Payton showed up, he said the NFL sends out like this 5-page document that's super intense, and you read it and you come away understanding the rules less than before when you read it. So he was like, yeah, I mean, you kind of get how these guys would make mistakes because they don't make it nearly as clear as you'd think. And so he went through and was like, we're just doing like a 30-minute PowerPoint, and everybody's getting all these rules in our words.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you just got to summarize it and send it to
they're
everybody in a
posted on the
little memo.
wall in the locker room, too.
In the NBA, too, it's like that. Yeah.
There's 2 spots in the locker room where they have the rules posted. It's like you can't, like if you screw up, there it is.
Yeah.
But like you said, I mean, there's still bets on all sorts of different things.
Oh yeah, I mean, and like I said, it should be. I feel like it should be. It's obviously regulated. It's insanely regulated. But if they're the ones that they're the people that should be betting money. You know, you got people that make are betting making $1,000 a month and betting $1,000 a month.
Exactly.
Those are the people that it should not be betting.
Exactly.
The people that make millions and want to throw a couple thousand at a game. That's a different story.
Yeah. Also, I mean, the NFL does have rules that are above the rules that normal people have to follow. You know, like when you think about like the way their suspensions work, like there's a lot of like things that you can't do, like public intoxication. Like, it does kind of make sense for them to have higher standards and for them to almost say like we're protecting these guys from gambling addiction.
Right.
Like I kind of see it, but at the same time, you just have to treat them as adults. And
You're a golf guy, Spence. How much gambling gets done on the golf course?
It's absolute like if you've played golf more than one time, you've gambled on. Like it is the most extensive. It'd be like if I had to relate it to like basketball, it'd be like 2 dudes running down the court and Christian Brown being like, yeah, I bet you $1,000 I'm gonna score on this next possession. Like that's how because it's hole by hole. I bet you $50 you won't make that putt right now. Like it's every shot can be bet on, and every like gambling. I think golf and gambling are like 2 things that just go hand in hand. Yeah. If you don't gamble on golf, you're just like not. I mean, maybe your group doesn't or whatever, but like it can be something as simple as like some gambling games we play are a quarter a point.
Right.
So it's not about the money. It's not about like,
It's
I'm trying to make money off this.
It's a thing you do when you golf.
Yeah, you're
Exactly.
like, I would like this guy to hand me $10 at the end of this. Like,
Yeah.
$10 isn't going to change your life or change, anything. But it's
Yeah.
just a matter of like, all right, yeah, you paid me, so.
and you're playing for something. Like you're not just out there like golf. You kind of play against yourself. When you play a game like that, it's actually like a game. It's intense.
So how much do guys on the tour gamble?
Oh, it's.
Do you think?
It's I'd say close to 100%.
Are there rules against it, or it's a free for all?
Well, so they obviously can't gamble on their own sport, but like Phil Mickelson is known as one of the biggest gamblers in the history of
right.
Yeah. So like, and even like they go out for practice rounds on
Exactly.
Wednesday, and hundreds of thousands are being thrown around.
Practice round? That feels like a
Exactly.
prime gambling spot. Practice rounds.
Exactly. And those are like the plane rides for NBA players or whatever. Like,
Sure.
that's just the spot
Sure.
where they're just hanging out. There's not 1,000 cameras there. There's not 1,000 people watching them. They're just hanging out. They're like, all right, I'm definitely taking this guy for $2 or $3 grand. So.
Yeah. Well, and on top of that, like golf gambling can be tough because the handicaps. And so like I have friends who would be like 20 handicaps but don't actually track their handicap. And so you have to decide like, okay, how many shots we're giving you based on nothing. When you're those pro guys, like you just play straight up.
Yeah.
That would make it so much easier.
Yeah, everybody just plays straight up.
Because even like I'll play like with RK, and it's like, okay, I get like 3 shots aside or something, 2 shots aside, and you're just like, it kind of feels bad when you win because you know that you got the shots. But it's like, it's fair because that's how good a golfer is. But it just feels like wrong. When you're those guys and you're just like, okay, straight up, let's just go.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, every time you lose to somebody that you give shots to, you're like, you're fucking.
It feels dirty.
Every time.
But
You're
you
like,
have to do it. Like, you track the numbers for that reason.
Right.
But it just doesn't feel right.
What's
Yeah.
the most money you've lost on the golf course?
It's under 5 figures, but over 4
Wait, like at once?
in one day.
What?
It gets sometimes.
Bro.
Yeah, sometimes it gets. But I've also won that. So
Yeah.
I think my best day on the golf course.
So you're probably about even.
Yeah, let's call it that.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Let's call it that.
Oh my God. I don't know if you guys saw this, to change topics again here. Do you guys watch Love is Blind?
Yeah, sometimes.
I mean, it came out during COVID. I watched like the first few episodes.
It's
I was
a
like,
very,
I can't.
It's a very interesting concept. Let's put it
Did
that
you
way.
know they're filming this new season in Denver?
I did because I actually have a friend
Pets.
on it.
You
Oh,
do?
wow.
She is on the show.
So I
Yeah.
heard actually also somebody from DNVR was approached about also being on the show. I don't know if I can say who. I mean, there's only so many females. It was a female. I'll say that. It was a female. I don't know if I can say who though. But you have a friend on it.
Yeah, she is on the show. She, through another friend, may or may not have sent a picture this weekend of something that ends up happening in the show. So we kind of we'll know her fate from the jump.
Are you
But-
close enough friends where you'll be in the wedding? If
No.
no,
It's a
That would be
it's
crazy.
what it is it's a friend it's more like an acquaintance, but it's a close friend of a close friend group
okay.
that I've been close friends with since high school. She kind of joined our group later in life, like the last 5 years, and
Yeah.
then she became close with a couple of the girls in that group, and so now I have all the inside. Well, not I don't like care to like know about everything, but I know that she.
Like it can't be
Gets-
that interesting.
No, yeah, like I know she gets to a certain
yeah, we
point
were in
that
the
only
pods
certain
again
people get
today.
to. So
Oh, so she's like one of the focal characters potentially.
apparently, yes.
Potentially.
Apparently,
Wow.
yes.
I just thought it was interesting because I saw this article in some of the places where they filmed it here.
Yeah.
Where are some of the places?
I'll tell you. On March 27th, this is at Axios Denver. March 27th, the cast was spotted at Retrograde, a speakeasy in Denver's North Cap Hill neighborhood, hidden inside the ice cream parlor Sweet Action. I've never heard of this place.
Yeah.
Oh,
I lived like a
wait.
block away.
This is awesome.
That's
Retrograde?
Wait, that's
Yeah,
the
I
place right by. Is it? It's in Rhino, right? Or
No, this
No.
says Cap Hill.
Cap
Like an
Hill.
old
It's-
speakeasy that like you have to walk in through an ice cream restaurant to get to. It's super cool.
It's
Okay,
like
there-
19th in Pennsylvania.
Okay, there's a place like that in Rhino
Yeah.
where you walk through an ice cream shop. It's by what's that one super famous bar? Trax.
Oh, I'm there.
Well, yeah,
It's a gay bar.
Ah, that makes sense. There we go.
I didn't want to say
That adds up. That adds up. It's
game.
like,
I
huh,
haven't-
no,
I haven't
no.
been there.
Well,
You should
you
go
learned
there.
something about me
You should
today.
go. So they went to Retrograde. On March 24th, the cast stopped by Le Bibloquet, a French restaurant in Denver's Cherry Creek neighborhood. I've been there; it's pretty good, fancy.
Huh.
The night before, the cast filmed an episode in Centennial at the Mexican restaurant My Neighbor Felix.
Oh, of course.
I've been there.
That place is
I
made
haven't
for
been
this.
to the one in Centennial, but they took like a year to build that. That shit
Yeah.
was like it's right next to
I've
the
been to the
house.
one in the Highlands, not that good.
Yeah,
I agree, not
Highlands
that
is,
good.
It's
Not
decent.
very,
Like, it's a-
very mid.
Yeah, at best. I've also heard sneaky, shady place.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
Like, I think, like, something's up with the owners.
Like
I can't remember. I wish. It's like, it's a Reddit thread that I read, like, a month ago.
Okay.
Yeah, but not. I didn't like the place before. I was like, oh, well, we get to cross that one.
I
off.
went there right when it opened in the Highlands. Not that great.
It's not that good.
That same day, the filming crew was spotted at Odell Brewing, Sloan's
Okay.
Lake Brew House and Pizzeria. I haven't been there
I
either.
haven't been there either.
I've been to the Odell in Fort Collins, but not Sloan's right.
Oh.
And then on March 22nd, Love is Blind staged a hot yoga class at Root to Rise. So they're all over the place. And then they were at Linger, March 19th. Been
Okay.
there. Would you guys go on Love is Blind if you were single? Right now. If you were single right now.
Yeah, I think I would.
I would.
I 100% would.
Yeah,
I think
I mean-
it'd be so interesting to literally never have a physical connection and try to like find out if you actually want to marry somebody.
The thing
I think
is-
that's the part that's crazy to me is like the whole
Yeah.
like yeah, you talk for I don't know what the extent of the show is like in real
It
lifetime,
feels like
but
you're. I think they're actually in those pods for like way longer than we think. Like I think they spend, like the whole day talking to
Right.
other people.
Then
in there.
there's so much B-roll on those.
Yeah.
fucking- But I think now that I'm trying to remember it, I think they've only been filming the show since, goddamn, when?
2019?
No, I'm saying like
Oh,
this
here.
specific
Okay.
episode, like this specific whole season. They've only been filming it for no less than a month. No more, less than 2 months.
Okay.
Right.
So like she left, like the girl that I know, she left on like a Sunday 6 or 7 weeks ago, I want to say.
Okay.
So that's the part that's insane to me is like you're getting married. Like there's very few, especially in our age of dating and marriage and shit. Like you don't marry someone after 6 weeks. Like yeah, in the 1940s, yeah.
Yeah,
maybe.
exactly.
But like I think that's
Yeah.
the part that's a little over the top to me. But like continuing a relationship that you found on the show past it is, not inconceivable. But I don't know if I could get married after 6 weeks.
Exactly. Well, I also don't know, like, I don't know what I would talk about with somebody for like that long.
I know.
Which, but like, if
I know.
you're sitting there talking, like, I just don't know how that works. But obviously, you got to talk to somebody a lot if
Yeah,
you're
you'd be
planning on
like,
getting
"Do you
married
think-
in like 6
Do you think
weeks.
Bo Nix is any good at quarterback?
It's
Right.
like, watch these clips. Like,
Pass-
that's literally
pass
what I was
the
doing.
phone under the
Like,
door.
That's what I was doing before my nap today. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna watch Bo Nix's 2 best games,
Yeah.
and then immediately after watch Michael Penix Jr.'s 2 worst games, and see if that can like spark something in me.
Did it?
No,
It sparked
No.
a nap.
it did. I was just like, I got
Sparked you sleeping and then
exactly. I was like, I've
meeting
got an hour
associates.
You're
here.
like, I need a
I've
nap
got to do
after
this. So yeah, I mean, getting back to Love Is Blind, I just can't see it going well. Because again, like I can't imagine just sitting there and talking to somebody for that long, and then being like, "Let's get married." Like,
Well, the beautiful thing about it is, I was talking with Kale about this. If you get married and it works out, cool. But if you don't, everybody's like, "Oh, it's whatever." Like they didn't see each
You
other
don't get
before they
blamed
got
for it.
engaged. Yeah, it's
You
like
don't get blamed
you
for
can
it.
break it off and nobody's mad at you for it.
yeah.
And you're also famous after. Like
Exactly.
like you don't even
True.
have to. I had a friend from college go on The Bachelor.
Yeah.
Or Bachelorette, and now he's like uber like ridiculously
Yeah.
famous,
Right,
and he didn't
right.
even make it. Like he was just one of the more popular dudes
Yeah.
on the show.
Yeah.
And now his life's insane.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. There was Blake from The Bachelors from Denver.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was another guy.
Yeah,
I
there
think
are
it
a
was
bunch
the
of
other
people.
guy who was like up here. It was a couple years ago, like potentially doing like a show with us or something.
I think that was Blake.
Maybe that
Yeah,
was
it was
Blake.
Blake
I think
that
it
was
was
here.
Blake.
Yeah. And I remember it being like, oh, that's kind of neat. And then like you're just like, yeah, this Blake guy was there. And then everybody's like, Blake was there?
Yeah,
like
no,
you
yeah.
met Blake?
He
Like-
was famous enough to take like a first shot at the Nuggets game.
Yeah. It's
I
crazy.
think he's
what that
actually
does.
taken like multiple.
Do
I
they?
mean,
how does
yeah.
that work? Do they have like a list of people?
first
that they,
shot?
Do they try to like plan that for the whole
I don't-
year?
I
or
don't
they-
know.
I
to
mean,
be
you probably
honest.
start by like you go through and see what concerts are in town. Because like Jack Harlow did one.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, why is Jack Harlow here? And it's like, oh, because he has a concert that starts like 2 hours after tip off, and he's just gonna take off.
Yeah.
And so like I guess you'd start with that, and then you have like a list of notable people in Denver. You have like all the sports stars, and I guess those are probably your like backups. It's like if push
Right.
comes to shove, it's like
Yeah,
here's
I
this
wonder
guy
if
from
they
like
just have a
from the
pool of
80s.
people that they know live in Denver that they could hit up. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
on the day of and like, yeah, hey, we need somebody.
Yeah.
And then
Do you want to
occasion-
sit courtside tonight? Okay,
Yeah.
you gotta take this shot
Right,
for us.
yeah.
And then somebody bails, and so it's just like, hey, it's that guy from Altitude.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we got Bill Hansley.
Exactly.
He's 0 for 7 on for shots this year.
But was your friend that's on the show? Is she like? Was she like famous at all, or did she do a casting thing, or?
No, she wasn't famous at all before this. I think she had like under 1,000 Instagram followers, so
Okay.
it must have been just the whole like casting scenario. But it's funny because she was actually the last I remember her. She was dating one of my friends. That
Does she
was,
have like
in
a
the
really
group.
hilarious like dating story or something? Because I feel that could get you on the show too.
Huh.
Not as far as I know.
Okay,
As far
okay.
I'm excited to watch the show, just specifically like obviously like. When you see somebody you know, it just makes it completely
Oh,
different.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to watch. I think I will watch this season. I haven't watched since season 1.
Yeah.
I think since it
I'm gonna
first
be
came
tempted
out.
to. Like, I don't. If I was planning it, I'm not sure where I would send them. Other than the DNVR bar. There would obviously be date night at the DNVR bar. Other than that, I'm not really sure.
real quick, let me hit a break. If you want to come down to the bar, tons of events going on here at DNVR. We got a Nuggets takeover on Saturday for the home game here.
Oh, wow.
That we still have tickets for. Limited supply though, but you can get them at thednvr.com. Just go to the events calendar. You can join me, Adam, Vote, D-Line, Dev. We'll all be there this Saturday.
That's gonna be
you
crazy.
You coming to takeover?
I wasn't planning on it. We're going to get furniture for our balcony this weekend. So
Okay.
Not a grill though.
not a grill.
Nuggets Hawks, baby. Nuggets Hawks.
Oh, is that who it is? Okay.
Yeah. So you can get tickets for that, thednvr.com, just under the events tab. Limited availability, but we still do have some tickets left, so get on that quick if you want to come watch the Nuggets with us. Come to the bar, bus leaves from the bar, then the bus comes right back to the bar afterwards. So it's a fun night. You can hang out with the DNVR crew, hang out with a bunch of other Nuggets fans as well.
Here's a question.
What's up?
How far is too far to scooter? What's like the reasonable scooter range? I'm just curious.
Are you thinking about scootering from here to the arena?
I was thinking from here to here from my home.
Oh. I don't know.
Oh, I've scootered that 100 times.
Exactly. I think
Wait,
that's a pretty.
did you move, or do you live in the same area?
I'm at your old place.
Oh, you
remember Alara?
Oh, okay.
Which maybe I shouldn't say. Doesn't too late now.
Oh, my old
place.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a little far.
It is a long scooter, but
Yeah,
they've
that's-
created bike paths since then.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
So
it's like a 20-minute scooter.
I would say if it's not too long to run your scooter out of battery there and back, I think it's not too far
Where
to
I'm
scooter.
Because like I've done, like sometimes you'll even like go to the Broncos stadium, you know?
Yeah,
Where it's like because there's so many bike paths and everything,
Right,
it's just
right,
so easy.
right.
Yeah, one morning I left my truck at the Broncos stadium one Sunday night. I scootered all the way from my apartment to there. It was
Okay.
Colfax at 4 a.m. on a fucking Monday morning was a treat.
Damn.
Yeah, it was cold.
Yeah.
It was not my best decision.
Sometimes like the next morning scooters are the best scooters though. Or like, you know what it is? It's the scooters to go back and get the call. Where it's like it's so many playoff games.
You're like a little hungover.
Exactly.
Got
And
the
it's like,
wind
you
in
know,
your
let's
face.
just get it over with. We're
Yeah.
just gonna get out there. But it's actually like kind of pleasant out. The thing is, because we gotta figure out what the plan is for all these watch parties. There's gonna be Nuggets and Avs games every night here.
Oh, it's gonna be insane.
And so it's like we just have to have like the baseline plan. Like, is that drive here, leave a car, Uber back, and then come get the next morning? Is it just scooter both ways?
I don't know.
That's my current life dilemma.
Interesting. Well,
Yeah.
you only have a couple weeks to figure it out.
It's true.
Also check out Factor meal kits. Eat stress-free this spring with Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals. Always fresh, never frozen. Chef-crafted, dietitian-approved. These things taste really good. They don't taste like a regular frozen meal. Keep them in your fridge and then just pop them in the microwave for 2 minutes. Boom, ready to go. So if you don't have time to cook, if you don't want to spend the time to cook, go with Factor meal kits. These things taste great. Tons of different options too. You can go to Factor's website, select what you want. Go to factormeals.com/DNVR50. Get 50% off your order. It's a huge discount. 50% off your order, factormeals.com, DNVR50. The last thing I was going to say about Love is Blind, I brought up if she like has a story about her because we were going to submit one of my good friends for Love is Blind, and he has like a ridiculous breakup story that I feel like they would have been into.
What
Can
happened?
you tell us?
I can probably tell you. Yeah, I can probably tell you. So he, college girlfriend, and like they got married. I was in the wedding actually.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Well, if he's getting onto Love is Blind, it probably wasn't. Was it a good wedding at least?
Oh, it was a good wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, good wedding. He's now divorced.
Adds
They
up.
were married for like a year, and she cheated on him with one of her, I guess I'll call it clients.
Oh.
She was a social worker.
Oh, no.
That's bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
That is bad. Oh, yeah.
I feel like that could get you onto Love is Blind.
It could.
100%.
Definitely. Oh, yeah. Because if you're not interesting outside of that, I mean, what? Telling that story is like 5 minutes of content.
Yeah.
Like that's 1% of the season, you know?
Yeah.
What?
But yeah, he was married for like a year.
How did he find out?
How did he find out?
She just like at work overnight. She's like, I just really
No.
need to stay with
You
this.
know what it was? I really hope he doesn't listen to this. She had to tell him because somehow her work found out and she was getting fired. And her license was getting pulled. So obviously
That'll
that's
happen.
against
yeah.
the rules.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Of course.
Yeah. If you're a social worker, you probably
You
can't
can't.
hook up with your,
No.
the people you're working
A
with.
little too social.
Yeah.
She took social worker to a
Yeah.
new level. Yikes, that's crazy.
Wow.
And then she had to tell him. And I mean, of course, that was it.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. But I feel like he could get on Love is Blind with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna be curious because do you watch this show?
I haven't watched this season. I've watched the last couple, though.
So do they start with that?
Oh,
Like,
is this
or
season
is it-
already on?
I think there was a season that just wrapped
Oh,
up.
okay. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
obviously,
Okay.
the Denver one's not on
Yeah.
yet. But
Yeah, I can't remember. Do they start with like a little story about themselves?
I mean, you probably mention it if you have something like that.
Right.
The producers are probably like, all right, you gotta,
Yeah, you
this,
gotta get this off.
this
This
might
is
be
why
time
you're
to let
here.
the story out,
Exactly.
you know? But I just feel like from a casting standpoint, that could get you in the
Definitely.
conversation.
100%.
Definitely.
But then we also learned that apparently they just reach out to people and they're like, do you want to cast for this show?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a, any like sense of a following or something, they probably want you on.
Definitely. Yeah. No,
yeah.
DNVR representation would have, like, there would have been 10,000 people watching because of that.
Last topic for today, Caitlin Clark.
My girl.
Yeah.
Your girl.
CC.
That's
You're an
right.
Iowa guy.
Iowa guy.
I mean,
Grandpa played basketball there way back in the day.
What's this been like for you?
Incredible.
Yeah.
The fact that I was so nervous like going into last night because
I was kind of nervous too, and
it
I didn't even go there.
it's like they needed to win that game for like the revenge part of it.
Yeah.
But also that was one of those where if your team is in a really big game, no matter what, it's gonna hurt or like be. But it just felt that much better to beat that team.
Yeah.
And they got I still don't think like it's not gonna be all forgotten if they don't win the national championship. Obviously, that would be the stamp on this run. But beating that team, and Caitlin Clark is the most famous women's basketball player there ever has been in terms of moving the needle on TV. She's also scored, you can argue best, like, until everybody has their idea
Yeah.
of who's the best player.
If she
ever,
was a
but-
championship, she's got really strong case for best.
Sure.
Exactly. And because that's the only thing that she doesn't have right now. She has
Exactly.
every other record under
Yep.
the sun. But it was like I'll admit I don't watch a ton of girls basketball outside of Iowa, and just watching that game last night, the talent, the skill level, going back and forth, it was just like good
It
basketball.
was a great watch.
Yeah,
man.
it was just like there was a Iowa run to start. I was worried because I was like, we're shooting the lights out. They haven't made anything, and we're only up like 4.
Yeah,
And then we were
I
down
know.
at the end of the first quarter. I was like, this is not good.
Yeah.
And
And then Angel Reese sprained her ankle, and that was kind of the turning point.
Exactly. I think she
Yeah.
still had like 20 boards or something
Yeah.
insane, but just the talent level, and it's actually funny to beat them with Haley Van Lith because she left Louisville
Yeah.
to go to LSU to try to win a national
Yep.
title, and then they end up, but just the talent level on both of those teams, and girls like Megan O'Grady, who's like the backup center for Iowa.
Yeah.
Stokey got into foul trouble against Angel Reese, and so they put her in, and then she balls out. Like
Right.
stories like that, and one of Molly Davis is one of Iowa's starters that's been out since like the Big Ten tournament. She's not coming back, so a chick stepped in, Sydney, and she's been great. Like it's just the way they move the ball on offense, even outside of Caitlin Clark, like their transition is insane. Like
Yeah.
Caitlin does, hold the ball a little bit and get her shot because she's that good,
That's
but
her, yeah.
they just move the ball so well, and it's such a different game because you're not like you can overpower people in the women's game, but there's not like turnaround dunk, like blocks at the rim. Like you have to be so much more skilled in other places, which makes it fun to watch.
Dude, I didn't know she was this kind of passer.
Yeah, that's.
Like, we watched her last year, but I don't think we saw this
Yeah.
passing from her.
Well, I think she kind of realized like she did what basically did the same thing last year, and they couldn't get
True.
win it all, and so she's like, all right, because certain teams, I mean, they beat up Colorado, unfortunately for everyone here, pretty well. But like West Virginia D'd her up. I had like 5 or 6 girls in foul trouble, and that's how you kind of try to beat them. Like you have to get up, and so in order for her to do anything, she was just had to get rid of the ball. And if her teammates are playing well, like they're hitting shots, then that team's pretty unstoppable.
Yeah. And I mean, there are a couple group chats where there was one message in particular where somebody was like, outside Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, this is kind of an ugly game. And it's like, compared to the NBA, maybe. Remember that you're comparing this to men's college basketball, which is the ugliest sport that there is.
It might be a better game than men's.
100%, because when you have Caitlin out there just doing things like, it's unstoppable. And she hits those threes at such an insane rate that, like, there's nothing like that in men's college basketball right now. Like, it's not just that you have Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and, I mean, you throw, like, I guess you can throw, like, Van Lith in there. You can throw, like, Paige Beckers in there. Juju Watkins. Like, you have probably 4 stars in the women's game that are bigger than any star in the men's game right now. Because, I mean, who is like, the number one, like, is DJ Burns the, like, top star of March Madness right now on the men's side? Like, probably. I don't even know who. I guess Zach Edey.
Zach Edey.
I thought it was Edey. Then I was listening to the radio. Everybody saying Edey.
This one. I was like,
I think it's Edey too. I said Edey. Yeah, but I mean, you've got him out there, but there's. It's like 4 for 4, like on the women's side, which is crazy, and a lot of that is NIL, because you have the State Farm commercials with Caitlin Clark everywhere. You've got the New Balance commercials with Cameron Bree, and all of that sort of stuff just means that you're seeing them even if you're not looking for them, which hasn't been the case in the past. It's basically if you're watching college, or maybe you see like a promo for a game on ESPN, but that's about it. And so the fact that you have them out there being as visible as they are, it's in my opinion kind of a turning point, because to me this women's tournament has been much more interesting than the men's tournament. And maybe I guess it helps.
Last night was appointment viewing in a way that no 100%. Men's game will be for me.
Yeah, I mean, the tweet came out just before we started that LSU-Iowa game got more viewers than any NBA game last year, except for when the Nuggets closed out the Heat in the finals.
It's wild.
Like, the actual championship game, the winning game of the finals was the one game that has more viewers. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's absolutely wild.
But even, like, going over to some of Lexi's family's place for Easter, like, not sports fans at all.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you think of that Caitlin Clark? She's kind of a ball hog. It's like, okay, first of all, yeah, she's a ball hog. She's the best player. Like, yeah, she should be taking a bunch of shots. That's her job. Like, she should be doing, like, that's not even the point, though. The point is you have a take on Caitlin Clark. That's crazy. Like, that is crazy.
The Indiana Fever, who have the first pick in the WNBA draft, they tweeted out a ticket link last night during the middle of that game.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm going to start, like, seriously watching her in the WNBA. Like, she is.
Yeah. No,
she is to women's college basketball and women's basketball in general what, like, Steph Curry was to the NBA.
Well, somebody had this tweet last night that I totally agreed with. He said, every time Caitlin puts up a 3, I get the same feeling I did when Steph shot one in 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You seriously do.
Yeah.
Like, that tweet is so accurate.
Again,
You're just like, what's she going to do this possession? Is she pulling up from the logo? Mm-hmm. Like, what's she going to do?
100%.
It's the same feeling you got watching Steph.
Well, I wanted to see LSU win last night.
What?
Mostly because, like, I kind of like the, like, Angel Reese is. Mostly, I just hate Iowa after they beat Colorado
so
back
hard
to back.
For Iowa last night.
That's fair.
I didn't know I could root that hard for a women's game that I had like no allegiance in.
Yeah, and I didn't start out pulling for either team, which is kind of the other thing is that might be the first sporting event that I watched without caring who was going to win in I don't even know how long. Because at the very least, like, if I'm throwing on like a random hockey game, it's because I put some money on something there. Like, at least I'm pulling for the under or something, you know?
Right.
Or, like, if it's an NBA game, it's like, it's the Warriors. I hate the Warriors, you know? Like, there's always something.
I was rooting for Iowa, man. LSU's just, they're so hateable. Their coach, Angel Reese.
Kim Mulkey.
They're hateable.
Kim Mulkey's one of those where it's like,
Yeah, she needs
People
to
found
rethink
out about her, a
defensive
lot of them,
game
like
plan.
a year ago, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, Kim Mulkey's awesome with the suits and stuff." And it's like, she's the fucking devil.
She kind of is.
I
yeah.
know she seems like women empowerment, like look at her out there, but also like there's a real dark side of like. So yeah, so I've been.
But
out
she's
her-
obviously also a
at the
great
same
coach.
time though, like I just after seeing them beat Colorado, I was just like, fuck them. Like I want to see Iowa lose.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I just,
Okay,
which is like
I get it from that
yeah.
perspective.
Yeah, see, I
guess.
also
But even
felt
that
like-
wasn't like a strong feeling. That's something that came out in the second half where I was like, no, this is making me feel away, and so I'm on LSU side.
I felt like LSU and Angel Reese are like they were like the Dallas Cowboys last night, where
Yeah.
they have their diehard fans for LSU,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everyone else in America was rooting for Iowa.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Sans betting, of course, like that changes
Sans
everything. That changes where your mind lies.
It is
But
crazy.
I couldn't like I actually got three of the four Final Four right in my women's bracket.
Yeah.
Wow. I did
So
not
I'm
do a
cooking.
women's bracket.
I also feel like the women's game is getting less predictable. Like it used to be that it was super chalk. Like the tournament was like
It's getting there towards the end, but this year I believe the first 32 games, every favorite won.
so maybe it just feels like
but,
that because
but
like
now you get
LSU,
to the,
yeah.
but you get to the Final Four and it's like a 3, 2
Yeah.
ones, just like the men's game. It's a 2 1s, a 3 and a 4, and men's it's 2 1s, a 3 or 4 and an 11. But same kind of concept,
Yeah.
like once you get down to the Final Four, it's really just those really good basketball teams or
is.
teams
Right.
on an absolute heater.
It's also weird that it's so star driven on the women's side. It's
it's
the
kind of
top
where like
dog
men's
putting
college
up-
basketball was 10 years ago or so.
Was it? Okay. See, that's it because right now, even these last couple years, there hasn't been like since Zion maybe like a guy who's like, okay, here it is. And even Zion, like that was the Sabrina Ionescu year, where it's like they matched that at the time too.
Yeah, I do think it's an L on the NCAA's part, like that they didn't have Iowa,
meeting in the
LSU
Final
later,
Four.
Final Four.
I know,
Yeah.
like how do you
Yeah.
put them in the same bracket?
And
man?
even USC, UConn last night.
Right.
Like Juju Watkins
How are
versus
those
Paige Beckers.
guys
Like
in the
how is that
same
not? How are
bracket?
those
Yeah.
4 teams not the Final Four teams?
I
So
know.
wait, what other one seeds were there? I'm
Well,
trying to
South
remember.
Carolina, who's
South
the number
Carolina.
one team.
Yeah.
Yeah, South
And
Carolina's
Still the favorite, I think,
by
to
a
win it
month.
all.
Like they were minus money favorite coming into the
Yeah.
season.
Yeah,
Like,
they might
that's
be like if
never
they
changed.
play. If Iowa beats UConn and plays them, I bet South Carolina's like a 10-point favorite, 9-point.
Yeah.
That much?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
No, they've been the best team by like a mile.
So yeah, it's Iowa, UConn, South Carolina.
And North Carolina State, who made
Oh,
the Final
that's
Four in
right,
both
NC
men's
State.
and
Yeah,
women's,
that's
which is
right.
cool.
What seed was
So-
NC State?
3.
Okay.
So yeah, the NC State and UConn both have men's and women's teams in the Final Four, which I don't know how long that's been.
I know.
Since that happened.
No, that's ridiculous. Well, did UConn?
Well, UConn's won the title. They won it in 2004.
Yeah.
2014. Now it's 2024. They had both win in 2004, both in 2014.
UConn.
Yeah, it's 2024.
They have UConn and NC State both.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's crazy.
I'm saying UConn men's and women's
That
both
is
won
crazy.
it in those years.
That is ridiculous. Yeah. It is just. I don't know why the women's game is so star dependent, whereas the men's game it just doesn't. I guess maybe it's just because there are stars. Because men's basketball, it's just you don't have those guys. But it's like yeah, Paige Beckers is just going to take like 20 shots and she's going to do enough.
Right.
Like Juju Watkins, same thing.
It is a weird
like-
feeling how you know like the 4 stars in the women's college game right now, and it's not the same for men's.
It's strange.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I honestly like UConn's a wagon, and men's and well, women's and men's. I
Yeah.
couldn't name a UConn player right now.
No,
Right.
I honestly can't.
the
Klingen.
Klingon,
Yeah.
because weren't the Klingons like an alien race in Star Trek or something?
I think so, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
That's what I remember is because of Star Trek.
But yeah, it's him, it's Zach Edey, it's the guy from NC State, DJ Burns,
Yeah.
but only because they've made this run.
100%.
Yeah,
There's no star power in
Yeah.
men's college.
And for the first time, like I really want a WNBA team in Denver, because before like people have pushed for that, and I've been like, give me an NWSL team, like that. You have like all the soccer talent here, like those are actually U.S. women's national team. Like I want to go see like who knows who you get, whether it's like Sophia Smith or Alex Morgan or whoever it could be. Like that would be fun to go watch. Whereas WNBA, I haven't been. It's like we already have the Nuggets, we already have like that stuff, and I haven't been as locked in. I'm worried that you could get one and not the other. But now it is like if you could get like Caitlin Clark playing here, because what there's 8 teams right now.
Yes.
If you get to 12, you have like you're getting a couple of stars. Like if you just look through, like you got the 4 or 5, depending on how you want to count it, that are in college right now. You got Sabrina, you got like Cameron Brink, who's still out there. Like you're going to wind up with a couple of awesome players. That would be kind of fun to see.
Yeah, I think there's 12 teams in the WNBA.
12 now? Okay.
I think 8 make the playoffs still, though.
Oh, okay.
All right, should be fun. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me today on
Yeah,
TDSP.
Appreciate it, Harrison.
Fun show.
Go Rockies.
Go Rockies. See if they can make some headway in the NL West today
Yeah.
in Chicago. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you guys later.
We all silly like the mayor.